What is up, my guys and gals? If there's gals out there, I don't think there's very many of you, if any at all. We're going to do a little progress update today. I'm a little behind, and for that, I want to start off and make a quick little apology that it's been so long since I've posted. Yeah, some of you might have seen in my community post that my studio flooded. I am so glad that I have nothing important on the floor. Yeah, so I want to make that quick little apology and give a quick little explanation as to why. If you don't really care, just accept my apology and you can skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp here for when I get into the main part of the video. But long story short, on August 3rd, I went downstairs to my basement studio, which is, I have an unfinished basement that has external access only, and went down there. It had a heavy rain in the southeast that weekend and found 2.5 inches of water in my actual studio, which is elevated from the rest of the basement. So I spent the rest of the day trying to get all of my gear out because all of that electronic and music equipment that I have in there is very humidity sensitive. So I got everything out and spent the next couple of days cleaning up water. It took a lot of work. Once I got all of that taken care of, I got my studio temporarily set up in my dining room where I'm at right now, as you've noticed the difference. And my workflow is a little bit different than normal. So I'm a video editor outside of creating videos, and I'm down to this little bitty tiny desk, one monitor, which I can work with, but it is hard. Let me tell you, anyone that's worked on multiple monitors, going back to one sucks. So being back upstairs has made my work progress a lot harder. Because I do a lot more than just play the tower. And at that same time, my van was in the shop. So I was borrowing a car from my in-laws. Well, because we have 4 kids, ranging from age 3 to 12, and they're homeschooled. And my wife is disabled. So it takes a lot more from me to help maintain the house normally. So usually my mother-in-law comes on Mondays and Tuesdays to kind of help out. That way I can get caught up on work. And that's when I normally film my videos. That way I can have, a solid hour without being interrupted to get everything filmed. Well, because my car was in the shop and I was borrowing a car from my in-laws, she didn't have a car to come help me. So that made it really hard to film. I tried a couple of times that week and earlier this week, and it just wasn't happening. It just was not happening. So today I've finally been able to make some time before all my kids get up. So it's still quiet in the house, so we're going to try to get it all done now. And then also at the same time as all of that, I've been busting my butt the last couple of weeks to help or to launch my mother-in-law, she's also a content creator. And she was launching a new podcast. So we were really humping it, trying to get those last few things done to get that podcast launched. And that was a lot of work, let me tell you. So that's launched. The latest episode just dropped this morning. It's Thursday the 14th. It's Thursday the 14th right now. So that episode dropped. If anyone's interested in natural health, let me know in the comments and I'll drop you a link to her podcast if you're interested in it. But yeah, that's it for my sob story. So let's just jump straight into this progress update. We're gonna start in the workshop where we normally do. So things have changed a little bit here since before. So previously I was doing a full devo except for my crit chance, my crit stuff, and I did have my damage devoed just a little bit just to save on some coins. But yeah, so I was keeping all of this stuff devoed. As far as my chances go and my attack speed, that's changed. I'll explain why in just a second. I messed that up. That is not supposed to be at 8 meters. I did oops on my last respec, and I normally keep bounce shot range at minimum, which is 2 meters. Because when I do eventually turn on my chain lightning, I just want to keep things as tight as I can. It really probably doesn't really affect it all that much, but that's just where I prefer to keep it at lower. It probably doesn't actually make a difference, but the reason that things have changed here is I finally got enough keys to unlock the damage slider. So the way that works, I'll show it in a run. Let me do that super fast. Okay, so this is how I use the damage slider. So you'll see here I've got it set. So basically you just set it to a % of the enemy health. And I usually start at either the -6th, give or take. I'm still playing with it, trying to find what that actual sweet spot is. And then I don't worry about my projectiles doing any damage at all. The only reason I put knockback force on is just simply if I have to switch devices or something, it's just there. But once my black hole gets up, the knockback doesn't matter. Like I said, I do still prefer to keep my balance shot range down, but I forgot and maxed it on my last respec, so I didn't feel like going through and redoing it again. And yeah, I just basically let it run like this, grabbing my perks as I need them until my spotlight missile can't kill anything anymore. And I think this is up to my coins just a little bit. I haven't really done a massive experiment one way or the other, but it has made my run a lot more AFK, which has been beneficial. So it's a lot less. Anybody that's seen my 1Q video knows my runs were very micromanaged. This has definitely helped things a lot, though I still am tweaking it a good bit. So yeah, that's where things are staying there. For health, I'm still doing pretty much the same thing I've been doing before, maxing my wall rebuild and all of these things. I devo all of this, and I usually run to about level 1200 on my wall health, give or take. Doesn't have to be specific. I do max health regen because it's cheap. I think it's like 56 trillion total to max it, so nice and cheap. I have started maxing thorns because they don't really seem to affect things one way or the other, so it's just one less thing I have to think about. And of course I do max my defense %. I don't max health just because it's a lot more expensive. I usually take it to about 5,500. It's probably not a big difference, but that's just where I've been taking it. And then for my utility stuff, still doing the same thing, devoing my free ups because I have yet to find a free up strategy that does better for me than what I'm doing currently. That may change in the near future, we shall see, but right now free ups is not as good as Devo and GComp. And then I've got my level skips both at 370. So that's slowly gone up. I think total right now I've got 30, almost 31 little Q into my workshop. I did have that a lot more. What I've been doing is dumping everything into my coins until I've got enough extra to pay for my next mastery level, and then I will pull it out of my workshop. But I figure if I'm saving anyways, might as well dump it into the coins. Then we go back to our enhancements. So this has changed just a little bit. So before I had my damage at 1.6, and then I still had my crit factor and super crit multi at 1.7. So not really much has changed here, really at all. I had my health and health regen stuff all at 1.7. And this is where things have changed a little bit. So cash bonus cell, I think cells maybe up a little bit. Okay, so cells I had at 1.37 before, so I've bumped that up a bit, and I did have my coin bonus at 1.4. Like I said, I've been dumping everything into the coin bonus until I'm ready to bump up my next level of masteries, and then I take it out. And so I think I had it up to 1.44, 1.45, something like that, until yesterday. And then I pulled it out to get my final level in Demon Mode Mastery, so that is done. So that dropped it down, and then after my overnight run today, I was able to bump it back up to 1.42. So yeah, for my workshop, for my tournaments, this is how I usually have it set up. So max all this stuff out. I do have my lab range at, I think, level 32, I believe. Let me double check that. Yeah, level 32 on the lab, and then I also bump up my shockwave size to max. Very convenient to have those. So yeah, max that. And I max all of this, and I unlock rend armor, but I don't actually put anything into it. Same with damage per meter, I don't put anything into that either. Then for health, I put about 3,000 levels into each of these, give or take. Basically, I go at 100, set it at 100, and I go up until it gets to 20 billion, or roughly about there. Probably doesn't matter at all, but I do like to have a little bit just in case I screwed something up at the very beginning and fast gets through and hits me. That helps keep me from dying. And then I max all this stuff out because it's cheap and easy, and I typically put 100 levels into landmine damage, and I didn't put any this time, but I usually put a handful of levels into wall health. Just to, like I said, just in case when I first start out, I forget to turn something on at the very beginning and a fast gets through and takes me out. So I usually just try to put just a little bit for that first like 50 waves of survival. And then I max everything out in our utility upgrades, and then I start at 400, and then when I finish with my enhancements, anything left goes into health level skip, and then I put nothing in attack level skip. Then for our enhancements, I typically do 1.8 on damage crit and super crit, and then 1.23 on the attack speed, and then, you know what, I've got enough. We'll dump anything left into random armor. Maybe I'll get something out of Poison Swamp. I do occasionally have bosses that are killed by Poison Swamp, and it's probably because of the rend or crit, would be my assumption. Nothing at all into health enhancements. Eventually, it probably would be good for me to put some into orb size. I just don't spend the extra there, though I probably should. And then over here in utility enhancements, this is about where I leave that. I don't put anything into recovery package, cells, or coin. And then I put roughly about this into cash and free ups, mostly to help project funding and get my enemy level skips. I probably should take that a little bit higher and put less in somewhere else, but I don't. So here's where more changes have happened, not a whole lot. Everything's the same for Chain Lightning, Smart Missiles, and Death Wave. Haven't touched those at all yet. However, I have done a lot in my Chrono Field. I've got my duration up to 1 minute, so I have 100% uptime, which has been very beneficial. And I also bought the first level, or I also unlocked Chrono Loop, which has also been a big difference. I still haven't broken that 1,000 waves in tourney yet, but I'm close. I've been hanging around the mid 900s. I've gotten really, really close. I could go ahead and unlock the next level or some speed reduction, but I'm saving for another mastery. And then I have put more into my Golden Tower and my Golden Combo. Anybody that watched my last video or progress update knows that I kept calling Golden Combo just Golden Tower. But yeah, so I put, I think, one more level in Golden Combo and then 1 or 2 levels into duration. So now I'm at 58 seconds with the Ancestral perk, which is 7 seconds. So I put a couple of levels into that, and then I got the better perk. So that's where that increase is going. Otherwise, all of my stones have been going into Chrono Field because it was really hurting me. And it dropping was killing me in my tournament. So I wanted to make sure I got that duration up. And then, of course, the tournament that I got it maxed out beforehand, so my first tournament with 100% uptime, was the one with the battle condition where it drops your ultimate weapon durations. Of course. No surprise, right? And then I haven't touched Poison Swamp, Black Hole, or Spotlight. Although I do really want to put a lot more into Spotlight. And I've learned recently that light range is actually a lot more beneficial at earlier levels than I thought, so I may unlock that one in the near future. I don't know. I really want to put a bunch more into Chrono Loop and Golden Combo first, so that'll probably wait a bit. I don't think I'm in a huge rush on that, but I do want to get it eventually. Cards. Cards. Nothing has changed at all with my cards since my last progress update, except for maxing Demon Mode Mastery. So now I get that ×6 multiplier on my damage when my Demon Mode is up. Otherwise, everything's the same. Really the only thing different at all for my farming runs is I don't take off my damage cards at the beginning, because the damage card slider doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're on or not. It's going to take it up to the same as it does. So that's awesome. I'm maxing at about just under 5 trillion in my farming runs right now. I am pretty sure that my next mastery is going to go ahead and be damaged because it is only 750 stones. I was really hoping to get another rank or 2 in this past tournament so that I had enough with maybe a milestone to get it, but I did not. And I don't really want to spend metals on stones. Done it before, don't really want to do it again. And then as far as my tournaments go, Again, same thing, nothing's changed here. I did, for a milestone run I ran today, take off intro sprint and put range on instead. That did not help. Modules. So I'm still using the same things for my farming. I'm using my 5-star beam Annihilator. I have not rolled this anymore. I do really want to roll it some more to get, I want the better attack speed, and I think I'd rather have multi-shot than bounce shot targets. So, but it's looking good so far. I would prefer to use something else other than beam Annihilator, but I use this one because it's a 5-star, so it gives me a little bit more tower damage. Sharp Fortitude is untouched, other than to get my level up a bit more. GComp is, I want to say I did not have this last time. So yeah, that's where I leave that at. I wouldn't mind having better on the cash bonus early on to help with the ELS, but you know, don't really care all that much. And then I do have the mythic attack level skip. I would like to make that ancestral, but that's not really where I've been focused, so not been a huge deal for me. And then my Multiverse Nexus, I did get that, like I said, the Golden Tower duration ancestral stat, and I've been hunting for Golden Tower bonus. I just got the 2x legendary substat, I think yesterday. I've been rocking the epic one because I hadn't been able to find it. I don't even want to think about how many reroll shards I have dumped into this module, but they're so expensive, and I'm not even at the next ones. It's already 1,280, and I've got the max lab for that. Ugh. It's expensive. Wait, no, that's not a lab. No. That's in the vault. Yeah, so that's where those are. I'm still using my Dimension Core, which is unchanged for my tournament runs, and Anti-Cube Portal, which I did finally get the Ancestral Death Defy substat, so that's great. Not a huge bump. I think it was, what, 1.5%, because I think it's 3.5 on Mythic, so it's not a huge bump, but every little bit helps. And then I run my Death Penalty, which is looking like this. I have yet to be able to get the Ancestral Crit Chance substat, so eventually I'll get it. And I do run project funding for my tournaments. I did not until I got it to Ancestral. This was Mythic before, and I would run it, and it just was not a big enough difference in damage to make up for the loss of 100% uptime on my Chrono Field, so I stuck with GComp and had better results there. Since I got it to Ancestral, since my last progress update, that took forever, but I did finally get it and Pulsar Harvester both to Ancestral, and I've been saving gems ever since. Now it's doing better in tournaments, so I've started using that, and I got the cash bonus and the enemy health level skip to Ancestral. Really, the only thing else that I really care about... Oh, I have a visitor. You say hi? You say hi? Yeah? That is one thing about being upstairs now. My wife's dog, who has somewhat become my dog, is spending a lot more time with me. She's been very happy about it. She gets very mad when I don't let her go downstairs. Yeah? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I know. You wanted to say hi. All right, that's enough. Go lay down. Now I smell like dog. Oh, yeah, really? Uh-huh. Tell me about it. She is a German Shepherd Australian cattle dog mix. Very unusual mix, but she is fantastic. One of the few dogs that I actually genuinely like. Okay, back to the update. Man, I smell like dog now. She needs a bath. But like I said, I did get everything up to Ancestral. I have played around with doing Black Hole Digester for farming and have yet to get better results with that. So that's on hold for now. Maybe once I get more into Chrono Loot, maybe I'll give that a try again. But so far, it was a big downgrade. For my tournaments, this is how I usually have it set up. If I'm short on cash, I'll take some levels out of the generator and put it into one of the other three if I goof up and don't have enough cash for it. I've only had to do that once or twice, though. But yeah, Death Penalty with these, Anti-Cube Portal, and Dimension Core. I do still want the Ancestral substat here, but I've run it re-rolled it a couple times and haven't gotten it yet, so we'll keep it with the Mythic one for now. One other thing I do want to talk about while I'm thinking about it is I have bumped up my farming tier to tier 12. I was farming in tier 11, but my runs run for about 13 hours, And I'm getting around 1.2 little Q per run out of that. And I don't remember how many cells. I can't remember. Yeah, so my best is 1.32 little Q. And that takes, like I said, a little over 13 hours. So it runs for a pretty good long time. When I run tier 12, I'm getting around 800 every time in a lot less time. I want to say those runs are around 8.5 hours to 9 hours, depending on how soon I get the what's it called? The time perk, the max speed perk. So if I get that early enough, those runs are a little bit better. A little sip of coffee. Gotta love my coffee. Where was I at? Oh yeah. Yeah, so I'm usually running around 6,600 to 6,700, and I'm not really sure why I'm not usually able to make 7,000, because I'm using pretty much the exact same setup, but with a little bit more damage than I was. But it's not really that big of a deal because I'm still getting the coins. I don't really care if I'm breaking 7,000 waves or not, as long as I'm staying around 800 trillion or better. It won't be too terribly long before we get to the 1Q for that. And then I'm hoping in the near future to be able to bump up to tier 14. Something I've thought about to get to that is unlocking extra orb mastery instead as my next mastery, because then I'll get the coin bonus on the orbs. And that could make up for the not killing stuff in the better spots. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think about that, because I've seriously thought about doing extra orb mastery instead just for the extra coins. Either that or wave skip. Not wave skip, wave accelerator. I think wave accelerator mastery would be a massive uptick in my coin income, especially at tier 12. So currently I am working on double death ray, damage, lab coin discount, amplify bot, cooldown, and ban perks. I'm going to stop this as soon as I get the 6th one. I probably could use 7, but I'm not really worried about it right now. Those take a while. So we will stop when that one's done, which will be tomorrow. And then the lab coin discount I've been rocking for a while because I really want to get that out of the way, but it's still going to take me, if I remember right, even at 4x, another like 90 days to finish this. It's crazy how long some of these labs are. It's bonkers. But I'm getting really close on damage. And then double death ray I figured I'd knock out because I don't really have something to put in that slot right now. That's where I was putting my demon mode mastery. And since I just finished that yesterday, I actually caved and gemmed the last bit of it, or the rest of it. It was not that fresh. It's only been, I think it was maybe like 15% in, and I said, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and gem it. So I did. And then I threw that back in. Where is it at? I finished demon mode mastery yesterday. And yeah, I've basically just been working on these for a good while, these same ones. I did finish up the second wind recharge, mostly just because I have a bad habit of letting it drop early in a milestone run sometimes because I'm not paying attention and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So I wanted to get it back up. And then of course, now that that's happened, I really don't need it. So I did finish. Let's see. So last time I was at crit factor level 97. So last time I was working on wall regen, I was on level 19. I think I took that up to level 20. Yeah, I got to level 20 on wall regen. Lab coin discount, we were at level 60. And as you guys just saw, we are up to level 77 now. So I've put a lot into that since then. So that's made a big difference, I think. And then crit factor was at level 97 last time. That is finished. Damage was at level 75 last time. So we've got a good bit of progress there. I also had my wall rebuild going. That was researching level 16. Finished up just the one level in there. I did put a couple of levels into shock chance. That was at level 18. Now we're at level 20. And spent a lot of time in my ultimate weapon labs. I do want to get that done. Haven't bothered with that yet. Chain Thunder is the same. Lightning Amp, I am at the same level. I really need to put some more effort into that because scatters are killing me in certain runs. And then I haven't put anything else into Swamp Rend enemies yet. I need to do that too. So that's the same there. Over here, I did max out our second wind recharge, and then I maxed out our super tower bonus. So whenever I do get that, it's ready to go. And then, of course, like I said yesterday, I maxed out my demon mode mastery. Awesome. Last time, so just so that you guys do know, last time we were at level 4 on Demon Mode Mastery, so I put a lot into that this month. And got that maxed out. Perks, the band perks is the only thing that's changed here. I got I got another level in that, and I started researching another level of auto pick ranking because I had the lab slot, and then I took it out. Yeah. And then as far as our amp bot, our cooldown was at level 7 on our amplify bot, and that is now going on level 24. And then for duration, I was at level 11, and that's sitting at level 13 right now. So yeah, that's where those are. And obviously my golden bot's been maxed for a long time. Have not touched any of these, though I'd like to. And then for modules, I have maxed everything out here, except for these. I think that's about where I was before. I think I just finished Shatter Shards. Yeah, I just finished Shatter Shards. The only thing that's really changed here is I finished out the module coin cost. So that was helpful. And then, yeah, everything else is the same there. Yeah, so that's it for labs. So, made some changes here. I've actually done pretty good on my keys lately. Still been working my way up. Last time we had this and we were about to get that. And then right after, I just randomly decided to get the Workshop Orb Adjuster. I did it so that I could try some of the other strategies like Reverse Orb Devo and some things like that to see if that maybe would benefit my coins better, and it didn't. So I almost regretted it at first. You know, I got a couple days into experimenting with some orb strategies and like, this is complete waste. It is really hurt my coins. I should have gotten the damage slider first. I don't regret it now because I've played around in some tournaments with it and it's let me get my orbs set at the perfect spot for bosses. Between that and Chrono Loot, that's helped me a lot in my tournaments. And then I just recently got the damage slider and that has been awesome. I think I got that last week. Yeah, because I've done one tournament since then. Yeah, so I got that after Saturday's tournament, the Friday-Saturday tournament, so I got it Sunday. So it's been a few days since I got that. And then I finished up the core of the tree, mostly because I wanted to finish getting the discount to enhancements and module rerolls. I'm in debate on where I want to go next, so let me know in the comments what you think. I have not started on the power tree at all, so I was thinking about starting there or getting... I'm not quite ready to need the auto restart yet. My runs aren't that AFK yet. So I thought about picking up this next or starting in the power tree. That's where my decision's at. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do. I'm leaning towards the gem stacks. I don't normally have a problem with collecting my gems, but I would like those extra 10 gems on my overnight runs. It's probably more than that because I usually wake up in the middle and I go, oh, gems. Yeah, gems. I don't need the card slots right now. I am saving gems for the update. If I don't get anything to dump my gems in the update, I will be buying the next card, or the, I think, last card slot. Yeah, I believe that's the last card slot that you can buy with gems. So I'll be getting that if I don't have something to dump gems into. Hoping for another lab slot, kind of doubt it. And then I've thought about getting the bots, but that is a lot of keys to get the presets. So that's like a month and a half, 2 months, give or take, depending on how I do in tournaments. So I don't know. It could be worth it to be able to dump everything into Amp Bot instead of Golden Bot for my tournaments. That could be beneficial. I'll have to think about it. I don't know. In debate. Don't really need the bot cooldown slider right now. Could look at the guild. Look at the guild. Okay. So for this day in the season, everything is bought. Yeah. So all good there. And then for my Guardian, I actually have a, oops. I did a respec on my Guardian. So I was dumping everything into steel. And after talking to some people in one of the Discords, so I don't really care all that much about the shards. I think it is a little bit beneficial. The main thing I cared about was metals, which I'm capping, and I was capping before, and the modules. The shards are beneficial, I guess. I was trying to max out steel, and so I decided, you know what, let's just give it a shot and see what happens if we max out fetch. So I did a respec, dumped everything into fetch, and fetch is getting more than double the coins per run that steel was getting, which doesn't really surprise me. The main reason I was putting everything into steel, except for enough in fetch to cap out my metals, was to see how far it would go if I maxed it out, and I don't think I'm very close to maxing it out. So yeah. Alright, so last time for tier 15, our max was 2234. I have made it to 3084. So I got the tech tree skin, have not been able to make it to 4500 yet. Tier 16. So we were at 985 before, and I was able to get to 2192. So I got some more stones because, as I told you guys in the last one, I did buy that milestone pack, that last milestone pack. I did get that. Yeah, so that's where we are for tier 16. We got 1,200 waves. So good jump on that. Tier 17, we were at wave 418. Now I'm at 1017. So yeah, got a lot out of there. Got the gems, got the stones, got more gems. Did not get to that yet. Close, but not quite. So tier 18, we were at wave 198, and now we're at wave 340. I got that one time, and then I have not been able to touch it since. I've tried and tried and tried because I just want that. That's a lot of stones. I wanted those stones. Cannot get past it. Can't get past it. So yeah, almost done with that. I'm hoping I can complete this without buying any modules. I'm halfway there, but I've only got a couple days left. So yeah, that might not happen. I may have to at the last minute buy a bunch of modules. We'll see. And the bots. So I've gold boxed all of Golden Bot. The only thing really was different, I think I was missing 2 levels of duration. And so that's maxed out. And then for our amp bot, I am not touching bonus or range yet. I want to get these probably maxed out first, and then I'll go to range and bonus together. But I put a couple levels into duration, I think 4 levels into duration, and quite a bit into cooldown. So I think I had 2 levels into each last time, and as you can see, there's been a pretty big difference. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and buy that. Boom, that'll keep me from being tempted to buy stones. So since last time, our most recent tournament last time was this one, the 624. Our personal best at that point was 760. Oh no, 791 was the best at that point. Since then, I've been staying up in the 8 to 900s. And 989 time before last was the best. And then I've kind of been bouncing around between like 8th and 14th. It's crazy when I'm doing, you know, so much better in my waves and still getting like 12th and 14th. I've had some really bad brackets, but I've been doing pretty good overall. I've had more better than 10th than not. Have not been able to get 6th again though. I got 6th. Gosh, when was it? Where's the beginning of Legend? Good lord. Says champ. Where is that 6th? There's 7. That was the first. There we go. Yeah, so I got 6th on March 15th. And I have not been able to get it again since. Which is funny to me. It's crazy how tournaments change. Well, guys, that is it for me for today. Drop me a like if you liked it. Share with a friend if you loved it. And we'll see you next time.